Hey, AFTERBUZZ TV fans, it's time. We're finally back for Lucifer. This time it is episode 14, Candy Morningstar.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Am I only dreaming? Is this burning? Sorry, as I totally violate the microphone. Hello, I am so excited to be back, and as you can see, it is just me, myself, and I, and that's okay because you are here joining me. Of course, this is the Lucifer After Show, and you are co-hosting with me right over here in this general vicinity. All you have to do is use the hashtag ABTVLucifer, and all of your comments will come to me, and I can chat about whatever you want to talk about. In fact, I think I've already heard my phone go off, so yay if you are joining me. But anywho, there's so much to talk about in this episode. First of all, we had the craziest weird hiatus, and I'm so glad we're back. However, even though this is slightly news, I'm sure you guys have probably already heard, we're only back for 5 episodes because the last 4 episodes are going to be pushed into season 3 instead of being the end of season 2. What? There's a lot that's been going on over at Fox, but that's okay because at least we know we're getting a season 3. Anywho, let's talk about what was going on in this episode. So, of course, we open with Mom finally feeling guilt, blah, 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 sleeping with some, I don't know. That was weird. Okay, you know what? Let's just talk about the fact that she was with some really young dude talking about her son and then literally going to hell and blah, 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 blah. Because if I was a dude, I probably would do the same thing. Lady, I don't care how hot you are, I gotta go. Deuces. Anywho, so it was very interesting because the evolution of Mom is that she didn't care at all when she first came to Earth, and she's doing the same thing that Lucifer did as he's gone through his journey in LA, which is she's taken on feelings. She's humanizing-ish the more they slightly rub off on her, even if she doesn't want to admit it. But the fact that she's feeling even heavier guilt feelings about what she did. And I like the fact that eventually, and towards the end of the episode, it took a lot, but after meeting Candy, which we'll talk about Candy, she said, what did she say? Only a damaged soul would make a poor choice like that. Only someone who's really been hurt, but oh yeah, that's right. I may have slightly, okay, whoops, that was me, my bad. Anywho, I like the fact that she's finally coming to the realization of what she did because she was so busy with her own intentions that she really wasn't paying attention to what the potential repercussions were. If anything, I'm sure somewhere in her crazy mind she thought, Lucifer's gonna thank me for this. And that backfired a lot with Candy, what was it, Cotton Candy 86, hashtag hottie husband. Yeah, okay, whatever. She had me going, but you know what? I gotta say, there were a few moments. I'm gonna open my iPad because I have some notes, but there were definitely a few moments that Candy let on that she wasn't as stupid as she seemed. And that one moment for me, well, first of all, did I think that Lucifer was out for a revenge? Maybe. Or maybe he was doing exactly what Dr. Linda was suggesting, which is, well, not suggesting, indirectly suggesting. After trauma, any rash decisions? He's like, no, no. Anywho, I digress. The point is when he came walking in with Candy, right away, red flag. I already knew it was going to be for a particular reason. But honestly, I didn't think revenge. My first thought was what Amenadiel said, which is Lucifer is either protecting himself or protecting Chloe. I thought self first because even though I love him, there's this little fraction of him that's still slightly selfish. And he's a dude. No offense, dudes. He's a dude. And what do dudes do when they love somebody but they're scared? They put up a shield like this. Just like this, right? And they start doing dumb stuff that make themselves look like buttholes, but really they think they're doing the big thing and like making stuff better by pushing the girl away. Wah, wah. I'm gonna open my phone because Billie Jean Girl's talking to me. And also for my engineer, if you are around, if you could please pull up my chat room so I could see what all the lovely people are saying. Let's see, Billie Jean Girl. Oh, she's giving me gifts. Unfortunately, I can't open those while I'm watching. But if anybody else would like to send me some messages, we can talk about it. I'm working on my British accent. You like it? Yeah, not quite Tom Ellis. Maybe one day I'll get there. but not as deep of a voice. Anywho, going back into, I had a direction. I was going there. I just seem to have forgotten it at the moment because I was so caught up in the British accent and Billie Jean Girl talking to me, which, by the way, hello, thank you. And what was my purpose? Mom, revenge, candy. She let on that she was smarter than she was simply by talking about the mannequin head. So we have this whole crime thing woven in, and I like, we've talked about in the past, Samantha, Ryan, and I, they do the procedural element, but they're so busy telling a story with Lucifer, and it's not too much procedural that you get so bombarded with that and you don't get to have good juicy stuff. But anywho, we have that heavy woolly band guy, he died, whatevs. Not whatevs. But when Candy pointed out the fact that she was observant enough to see Mannequin Head at the crime scene, but also Mannequin Head was the mediator and that he's a potential suspect, I thought, yeah, okay. And she blamed it on the fact that she had to be just, you know, whatchamacallit? Oh, I have to be observant in my job as a stripper. Oh, yay! Okay, sorry, I just noticed my chat is up, so I just want to say hello to those of you who stayed up really late or on the other end of the spectrum or the world are up very, very early. So, Ivan is here. Hello! We have, Casket Fan 1, you're joining me on this show. Cool. Chaotic Mayhem. Let's see, not all blondes are stupid. Hashtag, I know. I've been blonde, actually. Wink, wink. Let's see. People are agreeing, but I don't know what you guys are agreeing on because unfortunately I just saw this chat open up. But we have China, we have that dog. Good memories. Okay. Anywho, oh my gosh, I've said that like 10 times. We should start a tally of how many times I say that and then slap me for it. I should talk about Lucifer. I was just excited that there's so many people in the chat room. So hi, hey, hi, RJ Martinez, what's up? I'm talking about, hi, Polaris. Polar, sorry, you're far away. Sam Jackson, sup, girl? What's up, boo? Yeah, anyways, let me talk about Lucifer, shall we? Mannequin Head. I love that Maze was actually checking her out for a second, and the fact that literally nobody knows that this chick is an actress. And you know what? When we got to see her at the end of the episode, she was actually really pretty. Not that I didn't think she was pretty as a ditzy girl, but she obviously had a lot of weave going on. The hair was real big. She was doing a lot. So to see her natural, she actually looked a lot tinier too. Am I crazy? Didn't she look a lot tinier, normal? And when I say tinier, I mean top heavy tinier. Guys, I'm sure you can answer that question for me. But anyway. So I did like that they kept the case to be a little bit smaller, and I like the way they wove it into Lucifer obviously trying to come back, and it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure we'll figure out eventually what he was doing in Vegas, saving that girl, but it's weird that he came back and he left because he was protecting Chloe, and at the same time he was resentful because Chloe has these feelings, but they're not true feelings because God made her have these feelings. And I like that Amenadiel pointed out the fact that she doesn't realize that God is making her have those feelings because in her heart, those feelings are just her feelings. And right now, bro, you're hurting them. So at least have some sort of consideration instead of being selfish and just protecting her. Again, that's where I was. I was dissing the male species. Sorry. And you guys know I love you. But the point is, I just thought that he was protecting himself the entire time. And I don't know how he plans on recovering from that. And I don't know how he thought he'd be able to recover from that. Even if the plan was to bring in Stripper Girl for mom and for family members to whatever he's stewing up over there, he had to have known it's going to hurt Chloe, protection or not. Do you really want to do that? And she was, and that's the thing is, I actually like the fact, too, that Chloe was really owning her feelings in this episode. While she may have used code words like, oh, I thought we were friends. Yeah, I love you. I thought we were something. We were going in that direction. Like, you can't just take what you want and give back whatever. So maybe she's not outright saying because she's at work, but she is saying something enough to where Lucifer knows exactly what she's talking about. So she's doing the dance, but not really doing the dance because she's still confronting him in code. I don't know. I'm chit-chatting. I want to make sure also too, again, talking about what you guys are talking about. Let's see, hashtag complicated feelings. Definitely. Autumn Phoenix, hi. We need to hear from his father himself. We do, and he's coming. Was it Tom Osborne? I showed pictures of him actually a couple of episodes ago, but he is coming eventually. However, I did also read an article about somebody else coming to be possibly the fake god, or thinking he is. So I don't know if we're actually gonna get the real god or not. But Lucifer did eventually, towards the end of the episode, even though he was ticked off at Mom, he had the sense enough to say, okay, Mom, so maybe you didn't have the greatest of intentions, but they were definitely not super ill to where they're at the level of Dad. So I get it. It's Dad at the end of the day. He's the one who made Chloe have the feelings and what have you, but still, I don't like you right now. I might work with you, but I don't like you. Oh, and since I brought up Mom, I loved when Mom went shopping with Candy, and Candy was like, what'd she say? Not even when she went shopping, she's talking about music. She called Elton John Tom Elton. I was like, girl, that's pretty good, though. Now that I know you're acting, that's pretty good. But when she's talking about the juice bar and the tanning, and Mom was like, oh, she is just... What'd she say? I have that written down, what she called her specifically. But anywho, oh, that's another tally mark because I said it again. Sinister genius. I never thought she was sinister, but I definitely thought she was genius. Timothy Osmond. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that. I called him Tom. My fault. I love Timothy Osmond. He's hot, says Billie Jean Girl. That dog, what you need is a real name at China. Hey, be nice in the chat room. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I can see you. Okay, so looking at my notes again, apologies, because it's me all by myself, so I have to refer to my notes, because when you love an episode so much and they cram a lot in there, sometimes it's so easy to get excited about one thing that you forget about the other thing, because you're getting excited about this thing, and now I'm just making weird fist gestures, which is probably wrong. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the actual case. So, the girl that was potentially the murderer, Marla, that was her name. I really liked her, actually, because I did think that she had enough motive to kill her. They weren't ever dating. I was going to say ex, Ash, but they were just in the band together. But the fact that she was being interrogated and she had said, wait, he was going to kick me out? Oh, I believed her. I really believed her. I was mad at Doug, though, and at the mediator, too, because of the fact that he's he's supposed to be real smart, but I think he totally had one pulled over on him, because the fact that he was dragged along so long as a mediator to eventually, one day, maybe become the manager. So he did all this stuff pro bono. He probably just got worked is what happened. And the plan to buy out all the records so that way they become a hot band and inflation and la 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 la. And I was like, okay, I guess, whatever. Real name, sorry, I see how quickly my attention gets diverted. I'm like, ooh, people are talking in the chat, let's talk. They're still talking about Timothy Osmond, though. Charlotte, real name for Charlotte, why she was kicked out of heaven. Well, you know, I don't know why Mom was kicked out of heaven, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. I do know that Mom desperately wants to get back into heaven, and we actually had the reveal that Azrael's blade was indeed the flaming sword. And forgive me, I'm not super savvy on, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but Bible mythology. So, and I don't mean it's a myth, just, you know. Anywho, I'm just saying I'm not super duper familiar enough to know if there's a flaming sword in there, and that's also an actual referring to something in reality. And if so, cool, because it showed us a really great job of bringing a little bit of that in there, but at the same time, they do it in a very light way, and it's not a parody, but at the same time, it's just clever how they work stuff like that in there. So it'll be interesting to see where Lucifer goes with that, because obviously we saw that he's going to eventually get it. So I don't know. And I think that Lucifer brought up a great point when he asked Mom, like, why are you trying so hard to get us back in? Like, why would you want to be back in there after everything that happened? And it'll be cool. I really hope, because I know the show is supposed to do a flashback of when the devil first arrived in LA, like maybe the first day. But I would love, and this is not a flashback show, but I would love a flashback of what actually happened. I don't want to hear you talk about it. I would like to see it. And forgive my phone because now it's like really loud. And for those of you listening to iTunes, you just hear boop, 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 because I'm getting a lot of gifts from Billie Jean Girl. What did you think of Chloe's dressed up like Candy? Do you think she pulled it off? Absolutely not. I mean, I think, and it could be because I just know Chloe for who she is, but and bless her heart, because I love Chloe, but I definitely think Candy pulled off being Candy a lot better than Chloe did. But I love that when they had the actual mediation, that Chloe's bringing in real issues, which a little predictable, but I still like it because obviously the opposite character, Lucifer, does not think that's gonna happen. He thinks he's just going undercover, but she's going in on him. You did this, and trust in my life. I'm sure the mediator was like, whoa, guys. Great scene. Also, the Dr. Linda scene, which I mentioned earlier, the fact that he brings her in to Dr. Linda with him, and he's like, Candy and I have an open relationship. So she knows about you going to hell. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I don't know. I would love to see a little bit more of her, and I would also love to see a little bit more Trixie, which we'll talk about. Excuse me. We'll talk about because there's going to be a Trixie-centric episode, which will be fantastic. Apparently, she's a little devilish herself. And I see a lot of things going on in the chat room. There's a flaming sword. Yes, there is. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, sorry, please don't be mad at me. Looking at my notes one more time. Thank you guys, by the way, for having so much patience with me as I zigzag all around. Ooh, they said zig and zag and he zagged Candy. But I'm zigging and zagging around this episode. Let's see. Oh, Maze. I talked about Maze briefly. I love that after Maze sees cotton candy and she looks at Chloe, who's like vigorously cleaning the dishes. Or not the dishes. She's cleaning something. And how Maze is like, you know, that one vein that pops out usually when I throw away dishes instead of washing dishes. But I feel like Maze, again, with the whole I'm becoming more human the more time I spend with you, it's across the board for that whole clique. But Maze cares enough about Chloe to let's have a little bit of a girl talk. Look, that's just how he is. He makes irrational decisions. He'll come back around. And I do like that Chloe, it's not going to be an easy, it would be too easy. I love Lucifer and Chloe together, so don't get me wrong. I will ship it all day, every day. But reality, if a guy does that to you, you're not going to just let him in. Doesn't matter how irresistible he is or how sexy his voice is with a cute little accent. Okay, maybe the accent could work, but it would at least take 10 minutes instead of like 20. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But the point is, I like that she's not so willing and ready. Just because Lucifer shows up, I'm not going to just let you into my life. And you know what? Towards the end of the episode, she seemed actually at peace with the fact that he was with Candy, because when Candy shows up all crazy about Lucifer after just being strangled, and she says, you know, he's really into his work. All he talks about is detective this and detective that. And yeah, you guys did go through some really crazy things and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know, something just clicked in Chloe where maybe something just dawned on her and she just said, you're right, yeah, he has been through a lot. So when he comes back and she says, I don't know what she says, but it was just along the lines, it's like one of those things when two exes separate and they come back together and they accidentally bump into each other at a Christmas party, and one of them has their new boyfriend or girlfriend there, and you're like, oh, I'm happy for you. But then there's the time when you actually are really happy for that person because they're somebody else's problem, maybe, or you're just really happy. And she looked like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Candy really likes you, and you're in a, you do you. And I think that also got Lucifer a little bit, it caught him off guard. Because he, as much as he was trying to make the point that I deserve to be back on this team, and I'm happy with Candy, and things are great, and things need to go back to the way they used to be. Just friends, just partners. They need to go back to the way they used to be. I'm sure he enjoyed the attention just a little bit when Chloe was giving him a hard time. Even if it was a hard time, it just shows that she cares, right? It's like when you do something you're not supposed to do, and while it's not fun that somebody else is yelling at you for it, if they didn't yell at you, then they really didn't care. So now it's showing that she really truly is moving on, and I think that made him go, oh. especially because Candy's not real. She's not really his wife, which we didn't know at that point in the show. Anyhow, I see out of my peripheral vision just a board going like this really quickly. It's the chat board. So I'm going to look over there and see what you guys are talking about way over yonder. I don't know. You guys are talking about vlogs. I love the Star Drew. What are you guys talking about? Jacqueline? Joyce Lynn, I'm so sorry. Again, you guys are far away. Really, I don't know. You guys are having conversations. Okay, well, never mind. We're going to go back to the show. I just thought I'd try to incorporate what you guys are talking about. The point I was making is that Chloe seems at peace to go her direction, and I think that gets under Lucifer's skin just a little bit. So, I don't know. I think that reality will probably hit him, and he'll, even though he feels like he shouldn't go in that direction because her love is all smoke and mirrors, I think he'll come around. I think that they are honestly destined to be with each other, but now at this point, after he's run off, how do you trust that? I love him, but how do you trust that? How do you trust that he's not going to get scared and run away again? See, and that's the thing. When people do that in a relationship, whether you are a boy or a girl, I won't discriminate. When you do that to a person the first time, they may take you back. But if they don't, can you blame them? Because who's to say you're not going to do that again? That's super hurtful. So the fact that going back to Lucifer, the fact that he's even allowed to be back on the team, which he proved in his own way that she needs him with his whole song that he was singing. Nice little kick to the 90s, which I like to use as the opening. My version, of course, was more on tune than Tom Ellis's version. Just saying. No. But anyway, I like that they had the moment, and that was actually going back to Marla, the fact that Lucifer's like, this is for a girl, blah, 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 blah. And obviously the show wrote it to where you think that he's singing to Chloe, and it was cute the way she was in the crowd, and you saw the evolution of her emotions just on her face. That actress did not have to say a single word for me to understand what she was thinking. First, anger. Sorry, microphone, I hit you. First, anger, then a little bit of taking it in, like, okay, well, yeah, the song could have meaning. You're silly. Oh, and then full on just, oh my gosh, I'm slightly blushing. And then when he says, this is for a girl who knows who she is, Marla, blah, blah. Chloe's like, huh? But the fact that he kicked it back after all that, because even Marla was like, who are you, creepy guy? The fact that he kicked it back and said, see, I told you you needed me. Winkety, winkety, wink. I'm worth being on the team. I thought that was a great moment. I see people talking in the chat. Lucifer doesn't like to lie, but he doesn't always tell the whole truth. True, but he does say, how about this? Lucifer doesn't necessarily lie directly to your face if you ask him something, but at the same time, he does that fine gray line of, if I don't tell you, I'm not lying, I'm just not telling you. Or, I am doing something to help you. So if I'm doing something to help you, it's okay. Not okay. All right. Let's see. I keep saying I'm going to go look at my notes, but really I just get distracted and start looking at you and talking to you. So let's see. What else did I miss? Possibly Mother. We talked about Mother and the Silver City. Let's see. Amenadiel. Well, we talked about him as well, too. I feel like I've covered so much. And you know why? It's because it's just me talking. Your ears off. Your eyes off. You're probably like so bored of looking at me. So what is everybody else saying in the chat room? Okay, Lucy, always one step ahead. Not necessarily. I think he thinks he's one step ahead. I think that he thinks he's really clever in what he's doing. But the thing that Lucifer doesn't always take into account when he's creating an equation is his own feelings and the things that he's capable of feeling, because he probably thinks I'm the devil and I can be straightforward and I have a plan, I'm gonna follow through, and no, I'm not gonna feel these things. And he does, because again, everybody on this show is humanizing, even though they don't want to believe it. God will probably end that. That sounds so bad, doesn't it? All right. Let's see, we talked about, did anybody notice, so this is such a random, irrelevant topic to the actual story, but did anybody else notice that when they were at the scene of the crime, the shot of Hollywood, LA, and then you see a shot of a billboard, and it is the CW's Supergirl. And it's not like they just panned across it really fast. It was a slow movement, and I thought, that's weird. Either they happened to land at a location and that was there, and they just figured, whatever, it would cost too much money for us to change it for a 5-minute scene. Or, I don't know, somebody purposely did that. Which is, you think that they would then pan down over here because they don't want to promote CW when they're Fox? I don't know. Like I said, random observation, irrelevant to the storyline, but enough for me to jot it down and go, that's interesting. Okay, I see here, gosh, I feel like I've covered almost everything. So if I haven't, do me a favor. My chat is a little bit delayed, but if you could post in the chat if I left off a topic and you're like, dude, why have you not talked about it? Then I can at least look up there and see what I have or have not talked about. See, Billie Jean Girl saw the Supergirl billboard too. P.S. Oh, and so did Ivan Soto. He says, hilarious. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm just like talking about a whole lot of nothing. We talked about Ash, and honestly, to me, it was cool, but again, the procedural has never been my thing. A little bit is okay. Again, just to move the storyline along. I would love to have, though, an episode without that entirely. No offense, writers, but I would love to see just story of the family, to see what's going on and where it's going to go. But I think that's just because I like the show so much and I'm really intrigued with the storyline that I just want to get there and see what the end goal is. Doesn't everybody feel that way? Just saying. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, I have a lot, I think, of news and gossip. I'm going to get to that in about, I'm going to say 2 minutes. We're going to say 2 minutes because I just want to see if you guys took the opportunity to get into my little chat and say some things. Don't forget that Lucifer and Supergirl are both DC. That is true. It's just weird because they're different networks, and I've never really known networks to help each other that way, but I could be wrong. I'm not a network executive, and I don't think those two are sister networks either, by the way. That's the only time I think that they would do something like that. Me Too, Alikona. I don't know what we're Me Tooing. Okay, did I talk about the band? A little bit. That dog is asking me. I mean, we talked about the guy that's the mediator that wanted to be the manager and the fact that they bought all their records just for inflation. We didn't really hear their music, so there's not much to say there. The band, yeah, they had like maybe a little small cameo at the beginning outside of Marla, who was at one point a suspect. But other than that, I don't really think that they played a huge role. The name was weird, Heavy Woolly, but yeah. Whatever. I think it was more about the fact that Lucifer was doing something weird, something's up, there is a plan. We don't know what the plan is exactly. Hopefully it's genius, but again, he's hurting feelings as he goes, so probably not as genius as he thinks it is. All right, so I think that's it. Alikona, Lucifer's crime-solving devil. I mean, yeah, that song was cute. Ivan Soto wanted to talk about the song he was playing on the guitar, which, by the way, guitar, weapon, we don't need to cover that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to talk you guys in circles. It's better to say less and leave it that way than say more and say too much of a whole lot of nothing. So why don't we just get into some news and gossip? Sound good? I think so.
TV News.
All right, so I have pictures. Whatever I'm talking about may or may not match with the picture, and if not, that's okay. So I talked about it earlier, but basically I just want to give you the official. Oh, hey, there's a picture of Tom Ellis, and we have Stella Estevez. She's so cute. Oh, P.S., by the way, there is going to be what's the movie she was in with Mark Wahlberg? That's having not Big Daddy. Darn it. Daddy's Home. There's going to be a Daddy's Home too. This I pulled up just because of the fact that there is going to be an episode which is anniversarying. So maybe that's next episode. It's supposed to be episode 15, anniversarying an episode with her in it last season. But anyhow, let's see. Trixie. Okay, so Henderson confirmed that the episode will focus on Trixie's relationship with Lucifer. In previous episodes, Trixie has expressed her fondness of Lucifer, but the title for episode 15 suggests that the two may not really be on good terms. So I wonder if Trixie sees her mom feeling a certain sort of way and decides to take it out on him. Or maybe, again, she's a child, so she sees things that other people don't. Now, the picture that's up right now is Leslie Ann Brandt holding up some coconuts because she's lovely like a bunch of coconuts. Dee-diddly-dee. There they are standing in the road. Boop, boop, boop. If you can tell me what movie that is in, I'll give you a shout out in a moment. You have to do it via...
King.
No, look, voice inside of my head, inside of my ears that's controlling everything magically. You don't get to play the game. That is for our buzzers. Ruined. We're tired. Okay, there's another picture of Trixie. The reason I pulled this picture up, if you can look close enough on your computer screen, I thought, holy cow, she has on false eyelashes. Anybody else think that's a little weird and creepy? I know pageant girls do it, but see, that's what happened to JonBenet Ramsey. Not making jokes. I'm serious. Pageants, whatever. But when you start putting 8 pounds of makeup and these lashes on little girls, I don't like it. Anywho, another tally. I said it again. Okay, this picture is of Leslie Ann Brandt and her husband. Does he look familiar to anybody? You got to tweet me because I can't see my board right now in the chat. So tweet me at boysandbeauty01. Tell me if that guy looks familiar to you guys at all. And then I will tell you who he is. There's another picture outside of her husband. Obviously, I just said that. All right. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to see if anybody tweets me and tells me who they think that is. And then this picture is a picture of her Instagram, or it's a Twitter. But basically, she was just talking about the fact that she wasn't able to make it to, what was it, attend, I think it's Spartan Con? I can't see from far away, so I apologize. 2017, so that is this year. And somewhere in there, she says something about being pregnant. And I went, like that Scooby-Doo, because this is obviously a very physically demanding role, and I was really trying to pay attention to see if they were shooting her in certain ways that doesn't show her lower half. This episode, she had on a baggy sweater, and she was leaning over a countertop-ish. So yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I think it's great if she is. I was just really, really curious. People are saying in the chat, someone did pull it up, he looks familiar to me. He does. Why? No idea who he is. Why? No idea. Nobody knows. You know why he looks familiar? Because a few episodes, he played Chloe's dad in a flashback. The cop that got killed in the diner? That's him. What are the odds, right? Total, well, obviously not a coinky-dink because he's married to Leslie Ann Brandt, but I just thought that was so random. I didn't click the two, and I've seen pictures of the two of them together, but it didn't register. So that's that. I don't think I realized he was an actor. May's pregnant. That's what RJ Martinez said. I was wondering why May's looks so conservative. Maybe that is why. So there is also an episode focusing on May's. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Mazikeen Smith. And it says, as you know, our scripts are named after a line in the script. It's super cool because I get to lead an episode and you really get to see stuff like it's tied into her bounty hunting somewhat, but you get to see 40 different sides of Maze in that episode. it was just physically fun to do because I was pregnant, fighting, and beating up boys, which is cool but hard. And when I read that, I went, I'm confused. You mean I am pregnant for real? Or I was pregnant in the scene and fighting? So that's when I Googled Leslie Ann Brandt pregnant, and there was an actual picture of it, and then that tweet came up, and I went, oh, okay, yeah, she really is. And there's actually a picture of her on Instagram with her itty-bitty, teeny-tiny baby bump, because you know she has a six-pack. So I was like, girl, please put that away. It's so tiny. But she's going to be one of those. I actually had a friend that was pregnant, and at 6 months pregnant, she still had a six-pack. It wasn't until 8 months that she started to show, and I was like, wow. Irrelevant. So that's some of my news. I don't think I had any videos. Did I have videos? I don't think I did. All right. I'm sure of the voice from my AfterBuzz God voice that likes to shout Lion King. I'm sure he would have said something by now if I had a video, so I probably don't. We talked about the fact that this is now an 18-episode arc versus having the 22. Yeah, I think that's it for my news thus far. So... oh, Xavier Clark, hi, I just saw you in the chat. She's pregs, yes, I think so. But let's get into predictions. I'm so everywhere right now. Sorry.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I love the way TV shows like to mix and match and make these montages of next week, on Lucifer, and they'll cut and they'll splice and they'll edit and they'll make one guy talk here and one girl talk over here, but you think they're talking to each other, but they're really not, because it's two totally different scenes or two different sections of the scenes, and it's very misleading. But what I will say is we obviously saw Lucifer with Azrael's blade / the flaming sword, which is not really a sword because it looks like a knife, but whatevs. And then I think I caught Mom glowing. Did you guys catch that and saying something? Maybe there's not enough time for me. So I'm wondering, I don't know if there's some sort of hex or spell that comes along with it, because we never saw Mom next to it. It was always brother, but never necessarily Mom. So I don't know if Mom has just got this weird thing where she's not immune to its powers. And obviously Lucifer is the one who can use it. So I don't know if that's going to be a way of maybe getting rid of Mom, or just creating a little bit of urgency so that they hurry up and have to meet God. But the fact that one of the actors had tweeted something about the fact that there's a fake God, like a homeless guy or something that thinks he's God, I'm going, oh, really? Because I just want to see the final whatever. And according to the producers, this 18-episode arc is actually something that's going to give us some closure. And the other 4 episodes that they already filmed could be considered either standalone, or they're just going to get pushed into, which they will, get pushed into the beginning of episode 3. But I'm also starting to wonder too, now that I know that Leslie Ann Brandt is pregnant, I know the reason they skipped around is because of Fox's schedule, and So You Think You Can Dance, but maybe that also worked out timing-wise for her because of the fact that, I mean, you could either write her out for a little bit and she can go on a vacation, but conveniently it may have worked around her pregnancy. I don't know. We'll find out. Really quick, I want to see if you guys have any predictions. So that dog says Azrael, sorry, may sound dumb, but Batman Azrael? Okay, maybe Lucifer is the light bringer. Is the reason I can't read that from far away. I'm sorry, Ivan. Lucifer and Amenadiels. Okay, well, I'm just, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube and are not watching it live, I'm sure you're going, what is going on? So I apologize, but you're always welcome to leave comments below in the comment box on Facebook, and I'll do my best to get back there and check. You can make comments on iTunes. That's always awesome. Give us lots of ratings. Obviously, it's just myself, so there's not as much of a party. You guys are the party. I'm just the hostess, and that's pretty much it. So I went away from my predictions, but that's pretty much where I'm at. I already mentioned before, I slightly predicted that I think that the Chloe and Lucifer thing is really going to be a lot of a back and forth thing between the relationship, and the writers are not going to give us closure super soon, and I don't think it's necessarily deserved yet, to be honest with you, because doesn't matter how cute you are, you still messed up, you still gotta rectify it somehow. That's just my thing. Okay, I think I've chatted your ears off enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go and just say thank you so much for joining me, for having patience with me, for taking tallies of every time I said anywho. Yeah, you can add that on there. I'm gonna owe you something, I'm not really quite sure what, but for having to listen to all that, I will. Anyway, be sure to take a moment, if you can, follow me on Twitter at boysandbeauty01. I'm also on Instagram at yours _ truly _ Alikona. That makes sense. But in the meantime, I'll give you kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for co-hosting the show with me, and I will see you next Monday with other people in the chair. Yay!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.